Hello, welcome to the Nightmare World in the Hell Realm. It's February 3rd, I'm the Doom Wizard, and we have so much to catch up on, but first, a big thanks from the bottom of my little doomer heart for supporting this content. All of you who come through make this possible. Last week, we had Melinda McGinnis and Jonathan Scram. Thank you so much. Now on with the program. We're going to start off with world news, recent events, and then wrap up with a brilliantly written paper from George, I can't pronounce his last name, but prolific writing nonetheless. First off, you all know the doomsday clock ticked 1 second closer to midnight, which wasn't a surprise really. We all knew that we stood on the precipice of civilizational collapse. Existential threats like climate change, nuclear weapons, and biological threats are still staring us directly in our collective faces. Personally, I think everyone here at least would agree that we should be much closer to 20 seconds to midnight, but the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists doesn't seem to agree. They don't want to spook the public. But it's okay, as long as we remain good little wage doggies, everything will be okay. In other news, Pope Francis advises you to stop scrolling so much because that causes brain rot, which was the word of the year in 2024. 2 words, actually. Meanwhile, an airline jet carrying 67 people collided with a Black Hawk helicopter, which the mainstream media was all over, and a plane crashed in Philadelphia carrying a pediatric patient. January 2025 global average temperature logged in at 1.76 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial baseline, but nobody's paying attention. Climate change is increasing rat populations in major cities across the world. And on to more policy changes, Trump orders the USDA to scrub climate change from websites, also ordered the release of 5 billion gallons of water from levees for no reason.
President Trump has released water from 2 dams in the Central Valley, just as promised.
The president says over the first 3 days, 5 billion gallons of water will be released. John Ramos spoke with an expert who says the move actually doesn't help anyone.
HIV, transgender care, and climate change and other federal websites go dark. As an extra bonus, earlier in the month, the Federal Reserve and U.S. Treasury Department withdrew from the Global Regulatory Climate Change Group, while we were distracted with plane crashes and tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China. So now there's no accountability for anything, and it's a free-for-all, fuck-all.
I mean, my God, how do we even talk to each other? What have we done to ourselves? How do we fix it?
So forget about our future and disregard the possibility of having a retirement at all whatsoever, because Social Security is set to run out around 2033, just when the world is past the 2 degrees Celsius mark. Into the dark ages we go, only to emerge into a catastrophic, insane world hellscape by next decade. I'll wrap up today's Nightmare World report with a wonderful essay from George, Tsakraklides, titled Final Destination Extinction. Cool face paint. Now with the article. Final Destination Extinction. Quote, with a brain no longer fit for a world of scarcity, humans meet the definition of an evolutionary dead end, a species unable to adapt. Extinction events occur when environmental conditions change too rapidly for organisms to develop evolutionary adaptations, and this is precisely what is happening to humans. Runaway climate change is altering Earth too fast for us to develop both the physical and mental skills needed for this crisis. Selecting and eliminating mutations, the process of evolution takes countless generations and hundreds of thousands of years. Humans are only as good as their previous, quote, working versions, which belongs in a cooler, more abundant, more stable Earth. Along with the changing climate, we are faced with a multiple game-ending overshoot endpoints: overpopulation, water scarcity, pollution, annihilation of the food web, artificial intelligence. Ironically, it is intelligence itself which has accelerated us towards overshoot, making our civilizations exponentially efficient and exhausting resources. It would have happened to any other species on Earth had they become intelligent, if only it was the right type of intelligence, but it isn't. The human mind resides in an overshoot cognitive bubble, so much so that it is unable to recognize and accept both the concept of overshoot as well as its repercussions. We haven't known any way of existing other than through overshoot since the beginning of our existence, which makes it extremely unlikely we ever will. Most preventative action should have already been implemented hundreds of years ago, and many solutions could have taken place in the past few decades. But even in a hypothetical scenario where these crises manage to cross into our 10-minute attention span, it would be too late to address them now. Multiple tipping points have been crossed, entering us into an acceleration path. There is no escape velocity when you've come so close to the black hole of extinction. Once we destroy the rest of this ecosystem, we will be left in a precarious company of our own psychosis and no fallback planet. Even with superbly advanced technology, the human species will remain far too mentally unstable to avoid doing something extremely self-destructive. A self-destructive brain can only create self-destructive civilizations. All of our innovations were selected specifically for their immense short-term benefits, yet punishing long-term consequences. Fossil fuel was a great idea back in the day, not today. We are facing an abrupt end to a long history of catastrophic decisions as we rapidly transition from a time of benefits to a time of consequences. Payback time is now, and the only currency accepted is extinction. This is a war between two brains, the brain that only cares about right now and the brain that can project into the future. It is very clear who is winning. Seeing patterns in data, putting together models, or winning Nobel Prizes does not make a species intelligent when it is unable to avert self-destruction. We may be creating next-generation iPhones, but we are still using humans version 1.0. The human brain in the age of overshoot is as outdated as Kodak film in the digital age. Out of time, out of place, and functionally extinct. I hope you all enjoyed this World News broadcast from me. Please leave a like, comment, and donation below. It means a lot, and I'll catch up with you guys hopefully next week. Take care.